Hello students, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jyoti and you are watching JG Chemistry. So students, today we are going to solve problems on UV visible spectroscopy, where we'll be discussing today problems on electronic transitions and some problems on oxochrome, chromophore and Beers-Lambert's law. As you can see, it is part 1. So in the next upcoming video, we will solve the problems based on polyenes, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl and aromatic compounds, where we'll be calculating the lambda max value along with the effect of conjugation and the solvent polarity effect. So if you want to solve some more problems on UV visible spectroscopy, do subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification of my upcoming video. Let's begin. So this is the very first problem for our today's discussion. As you can see, the UV spectrum of acetone is given here, where you can see a peak at 280 nanometer with the absorption coefficient value 15 and another peak at 190 nanometer with the absorption coefficient 100. And they are asking identify the electronic transition for each peak and which one will be more intense. So let's find out. This is the structure of acetone, and we know acetone is having lone pair of electrons, so it is having non-bonding electron. It is having a double bond, so it means it is having pi electrons as well as sigma bond electrons. So all the three types of electrons are there. So what specific peaks we will see in the acetone UV spectrum? These are the three peaks we observe, which is reported that N to sigma star transition, pi to pi star transition and N to pi star transition. And we know among the three transition, N to pi star is having the least energy difference, as I assume that all of you are aware of the electronic transition spectrum. So N to pi star is having the least energy gap, means the wavelength should be the highest. So among the three, the highest is always for N to pi star in case if the heteroatom is present. 190 for pi to pi and N2 sigma, since the heteroatom is there, so both are present here. Non-bonding are usually forbidden transition, and if you are having the same orbital, that is the allowed transition. So basically pi to pi is allowed, but these two occurs in the far UV and above 200 nanometer occurs in near UV. So you will be able to see this 280 very clearly in the spectrum acetone. Now we will focus on the data which is given here, where the epsilon max value is 15. So which says like if the molar absorptivity value is from 10 to 100 range, usually the transition is forbidden and the intensity will be weak. Lambda max 280, so we are familiar that yes, it is a forbidden transition. High value means it should be N to pi star transition. So guys, you have to learn acetone. Two typical examples are there in case MSc students, acetone and benzene for aromatic group. So you have to learn the peaks for acetone and benzene. The next, the data is given 190 nanometer, 100, since it is a saturated ketone, so therefore the wavelength is less here for pi to pi star transition. The next, they are asking which is more intense. Obviously, the higher the value of epsilon max, that will be the more intense. So if you compare the two data, 15 and 100, 100 is more intense. So this peak will be more intense, which is for pi to pi star transition. Okay, now in this question, the data is given to you and you have to identify the type of transition in each case. So ethanol is the very first example, and since ethanol is having aldehyde, carbonyl group is there, heteroatom is present, and if you focus on the molar absorptivity value 17, which says it is a forbidden transition, and 290 nanometer, which is very high value, we can assume that it should be N to pi star transition, which is a radical band. So first is you have to find out the functional group. If it is heteroatom is present, just look at the intensity here. The epsilon max value tells you the intensity. If it varies from 10 to 100, that is the forbidden transition. Okay. Acetic anhydride, again it has a carbonyl group. 44 says it is forbidden transition. High value of lambda says again it is N2 pi star transition. The third is 1,3-pentadiene, where you don't have an heteroatom. So it is only sigma and pi electrons are there. And here you can focus on the intensity, which is 22,650. So if the molar absorptivity value, that is sigma max value, is more than 10 to the power 4, the transitions are called allowed transitions, means within the same orbital. High value means more strong intense peak you will get, and 224 lambda max, which is high value, suggests it is pi to pi star k band transition. Okay, pi to pi star same orbital, because the absolute max value is higher, more than 10 to the power 4. So allowed transition, while the previous two was forbidden transition because of the less value of sigma max. Crotonaldehyde, again it is carbonyl group, and we will focus here. Sigma max is high value, means they are not talking about here n to pi star transition. It is the sigma max value high, 10 to the power more than 10 to the power 4, suggests it is the allowed transition, means within the same orbital. Okay, and high value of 214 lambda max suggests it is pi to pi star transition, again k band. Okay. The last is styrene, which is aromatic compound. Again, it is having only the pi bonds and sigma bonds. Now you can notice the intensity is weak here, 450. Usually K bands are quite intense, but we know here it is aromatic compound, and aromatic compounds are having the very characteristic peak called benzenoid band. So 450 is not for N, because N heteroatom is not present here. So this is basically the pi to pi star transition B band. So aromatic compounds usually have two or more than two peaks for pi to pi star transition. One is K band, other is B band, and you can get E1 and E2 band, where E2 band is called K band. Okay, so in this way you can identify the type of transition. The third problem, it is quite similar. Here again they are asking, the molecules are mentioned here. You have to identify all the possible transitions, electronic transition in each molecule. So the first is given here, cyclopentene. Since cyclopentene is having only sigma and pi electrons, so we will be writing all the possible transitions. Sigma and pi, whatever possible combinations are there, you have to mention here. Sigma to pi star, pi to pi star, and pi to sigma star. Acetaldehyde, since it has heteroatom as well, along with sigma and pi, all possible combinations we will write. So there are total 6 possible combinations. For dimethyl ether, it has only n sigma electrons. There is no pi electron. So we will write the combination of 2 sigma and n, okay, n electron. So there are only 2 possibilities, sigma to sigma star and n to sigma star in case of dimethyl ether. Finally, it has cyclohexane, which is having only sigma electrons. So only one electron transition is possible, that is sigma to sigma star. So in that way, you can solve and identify the different type of electronic transition. This problem, where the lambda max value is given for different halides, okay, methyl chloride, methyl bromide, and methyl iodide, and the lambda max value is mentioned here. You can notice as they are going down from chlorine to bromine to iodine, the lambda max value is increasing. So you have to identify, justify why it is so. So first of all, since these halides are having only n and sigma electrons, so this particular the lambda max value is for n to sigma star transition. Okay, so this is n to sigma star transition. All three are belongs to n to sigma star. But why this increase in the lambda max? Because iodine is bigger in size as compared to chlorine and bromine. So bigger in size means the electrons are far away from the attractive force of the nucleus, here in case of iodine. So the electronic transitions are easily possible here. Okay, so faster. Easily it will donate its electron for the transition. Therefore, the lambda max will be higher. Okay, so it requires less energy to excite the electrons, means more wavelength. Energy is inversely proportional to the lambda value. E is equal to hc over lambda. So E is inversely proportional to lambda. Therefore, less energy required means high wavelength will be there. Similarly, if you compare chlorine and bromine, bromine again being a bigger size as compared to chlorine, energy requirement will be less as compared to chlorine. Therefore, the wavelength is higher as compared to chlorine. So you can see the theory here from here and justify your answer for such kind of problems. The next problem, here you have to mention the statement. The two statements are given whether it is true or false. The first statement says ethylene absorbs at 165 nanometer and the molar absorptivity is given 10,000. Ethylene being only sigma and pi electrons, okay, and the molar absorptivity value is 10 to the power 4. It suggests it is allowed transition. Okay, so that is pi to pi star transition, which is you are seeing at 165 nanometer. So we can say the following statement is right. The other possibility is sigma to sigma also, but that absorbs lesser than this lambda value. The other is benzene shows K band at 254 nanometer and the epsilon value is given. As I told you, you have to learn two typical molecules and its absorption spectra. That is, one is acetone, other is benzene. So then you can solve easily a problem related to benzene. So K band, the data is given. Now we have to see whether it is correct or wrong. So this is wrong statement. Now how and why we are saying it is wrong? For that, you see the benzene shows three absorption bands. It has since only sigma and pi electrons. So basically sigma to sigma transition will be seen in far UV. You won't be able to see in the normal UV spectrum, that is near UV. You will see these three spectrum, the absorption bands. One is 184, other is around 204 nanometer and third is 254 nanometer. And each one is showing its intensity 60,000, 7,400 and 204. All the three belongs to pi star transition. Okay, so all the three are pi to pi star transition. The first one at 184 is called E1 band, that is ethylenic band. 204 having 7,400 around, it is called E2 or K band. Okay, E2 or K band. While the last one, which is having the highest wavelength but the intensity is very less, that is the B band, the benzenoid band characteristic of aromatic compound. Now our data is given K band 254. So this is wrong. You can see K band occurs at 204. Okay, so 254 is for B band. Moreover, the epsilon value 60,000 is for E1. Okay, so if it is K band, the epsilon value, the molar absorptivity value should be 7,400. So in that way, we can say the statement is wrong. So you have to learn acetone and benzene, these spectrum, because most of the problem comes from these two molecules for either for BSc or MSc student mostly. So you can learn it. And majorly the student who are preparing for CSIR and GATE, there also it is quite helpful to solve the problems. Okay, now this one is basically based on the Beer-Lambert's law, where the lambda max value and the epsilon is given for alpha beta unsaturated ketone. You can see here absorbance value with the path length is given 1 centimeter cell. They are asking you to calculate the concentration in gram per liter. So we know the formula that A is equal to epsilon Cl, where A is the absorbance, epsilon is the molar absorptivity, C is the concentration and L is the path length or cell length. So they are asking you to calculate concentration. You can put the values here. The concentration will come in mole per liter. But they are asking you to calculate in gram per liter. So what you have to do? You have to multiply this value with the molecular mass and you will get the answer in gram per liter. If they are asking you to calculate in gram per ml, then the same equation you have to multiply along with the molecular mass by into 10 to the power 3. In that case, you will get your answer in gram per ml. So such kind of problems you can solve. And this is the last problem in today's discussion, where the data is given you, few molecules, aromatic compounds are given here, and you have to just comment on the wavelength for each molecule. So you can notice here you have benzene, phenol, phenolate, aniline and anilinium. Each one is having different wavelength here. So why it is so? We have to find out. If you notice, as compared to benzene, phenol and aniline are having OH and NH2 group, which is called the oxochromes. Okay, oxochromes are those who bear the lone pair of electrons, which increases the intensity of the chromophore. So what is chromophore? Now unsaturated, covalently unsaturated compounds or groups are called chromophore. So if the chromophoric group is attached with the oxochrome and it increases the resonance or conjugation, and so you can notice the wavelength is also increased. So you can find out, the statement is mentioned here. Now so this is the reason, therefore the phenol and aniline is having higher wavelength as compared to benzene. Now if you compare the phenol and aniline, aniline absorbs at higher wavelength because the electronegativity of nitrogen is less as compared to the oxygen of the phenol. So therefore, the lone pair on the nitrogen will easily participate in the resonance or conjugation as compared to this phenol. Therefore, the conjugation is extended here. So the wavelength of absorption will be high as compared to phenol. If you compare phenol and phenolate, and if you remove the proton from the phenol, you have a negative charge here on the oxygen, right? So negative charge is easily available, means the lone pairs are easily available to participate in the conjugation. Therefore, the wavelength is highest, you can see, in case of phenolate as compared to aniline as well as the phenol. Okay, so you can say the if you remove the proton from the phenol on generation of phenolate, the shift is called bathochromic shift. That is the wavelength towards absorption towards a higher wavelength. Okay, bathochromic shift. Now aniline, if you compare anilinium, on protonation of aniline, what happens? There is no longer available of the lone pair of electron on the nitrogen. So no lone pair means no conjugation, no extended conjugation is there. No oxochrome is present, like NH2 was acting as oxochrome. So no oxochrome in case of anilinium means this will behave more or like same as benzene, and therefore the wavelength is the same here. Anilinium ion, and if you compare aniline with anilinium ion, the shift from 280 to 254 is called hypsochromic shift. That is the decrease in the absorption towards a lesser wavelength, right? So that is called hypsochromic shift. So you can find out the details here, statement and justification here, to write down your answer for your MSc or for your any competitive exam you are looking for. So this was our last question in today's discussion. In my next video, we'll be discussing, as I told you, the lambda max value calculation for aromatic compounds, for alpha beta unsaturated compounds, and for the conjugated alkenes, polyenes you can say, along with the effect of conjugation as well as effect of solvent polarity. So continue learning. Happy learning. See you in the next video. Bye.